All right, this is Kimberly James of the Kimberly James Report, and we are sitting here with Jett of Sister Hazel. I really appreciate you giving us time today to answer some questions.
And I'm glad to be here.
Okay, awesome. All right, I guess we'll get started. You guys have been around a bit and had a great success in album sales.
We've been around a little bit.
Is it true that you guys sold over 30,000 records before you ever signed with Universal?
Yeah, you know, we sold a lot of records the old-fashioned way, out of the back of our van and trailer. You know, just traveling around, mostly around here, the southeast. You know, we came out of Gainesville, Florida, and you know, we started doing what we call concentric circles. Back then, you kind of work your way out, and you work your way back, and you know, we took Florida, and then started working through the southeast, and just by doing that and playing colleges and hitting all the little, you know, clubs, pubs, and coffee houses in between, you know, things were connecting with our music was connecting, and we sold them, like I said, out of the back of the van. And yeah, we had our own path that we were set on. We were determined to make it by our standards without having to have a record deal. So we built everything around a plan that we had.
Yeah, I love that. So would you suggest to young artists these days to set up their own record label and to do it that way?
You know, there's tons of not tons of ways, but there's more than one way to make it in this industry, and you know, your definition of what making it is going to vary widely as well. So, but in answer to your question, more so than ever, you've got to find new ways to distribute your music and to get it out to people. I mean, we've been around for, you know, putting records out for over 15 years now, and it's almost like every time we put out a record, except for the, you know, those bands before, you know, pre-Napster, we'll call it, PN versus post-N, which changed obviously the way records were bought, sold, and distributed. You know, it's anybody's game out there, as long as, you know, you have to have good music, good product. But you know, even the big industry labels don't know exactly what the magic trick is. So you know, a lot of it is going to come back into the artist and the artist's camp, and that group that surrounds themselves around the artist, the management, the publicity team, the, you know, marketing, or even if it's just you within your group and your band that's doing all that. It comes down to, you can't look at it like the old way of, hey, let's get a record deal and make it. It's, you got to get out there and hammer every single aspect and know every single aspect about what your music is and how you want to get it out there, and know who your fans are and who you're targeting.
Yeah, I tell artists that a lot, because I work in band management and booking and promotions, and the first thing that happens when a young artist comes to me is, oh, well, we want to get on a record label. And I'm like, well, that's not the most, like, it's not the thing right now.
Yeah, and now more than ever, but even back when we got our record deal, you know, it is exciting, but that's just your foot in the door to another level. It's basically, you know, you're plugging into a bigger machine, and there's other ways to do that now. That's the cool thing, you know. The old business model is dead, but the cool thing is things rise out of that, because music is going to be going to be made, and it's going to be distributed. And so, you know, we as artists and in the music business have to find ways of, you know, making that so that artists can live and you know, have a living doing it and continue to, you know, put their art out there for people to get.
Very cool. I know you're single from the album All For You.
I thought you were going to say, I know you're single. I was like, no, I'm not. Sam's been married for 10 years.
I know you're single from the album All For You was one of your most successful ones. But in your opinion, does the music from then still represent the band as the band that you are now? How have you changed?
Yeah, no, absolutely not, and yes at the same time. You have to, you know, what we are is, and what hopefully any band that's been around as long as we have is you know, a sum of the parts. And what we were at that point and what that song was, the song All For You, you know, it was huge. It opened huge doors for us. But to be, you know, every band that's had a door opened, you're only kind of as good as your last show and your last you know, songs that you put out there. And so we had to get out there and earn it from there. And I guess there's a reason why we're still touring all over the country, and you know, and we had the door open from that song. So, you know, we look at that fondly. We don't get, you know, people ask, you get tired of playing that. But the nice thing is after a while, you know, you start defining yourself by so much more. And the longer that you have a career, it's the greatest part of it is you define your sound as who you are way beyond one facet. You show all the facets of you know, what you are as an artist and a songwriter and as a band, and you know, with that, it's like one of the coolest privileges is when somebody can say, you know, instead of what do you sound like, you know, you hear, well, it sounds kind of a little like Hazel-ish, you know, or something like that. It's like, wow, we've been around long enough to be, you know, to have defined our sound, which is, that's one of the coolest things.
Now, is Croaking Poets now your label since you leaving Universal, or are you on another label?
You know, it's kind of all semantics at this point. Yes, Croaking Poets is our label, but when we say label, it's just it's our in-house. It's just whenever anything's in-house, it's Croaking Poets. We have assembled, the way that we do it is we assemble teams. Currently, our management has a record label, and our management happens to be comprised of like our marketing, product manager, our like 5 different people from Universal Records when we were on it. So basically, we've got like the A team from Universal putting out our records, but in our the way that we want to. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to put out music now. And so that's kind of the path that we've taken on the last 2 albums with Rockridge, who's our management.
Very cool. I was kind of wondering about this. I know you got your name from Sister Hazel Williams, the nun, and like, what made you guys decide on that name? Did she have like an integral part in you guys, or?
No, she was just a lady around Gainesville that Ken knew about when he was growing up, and then she was actually gone when we came up with the name. It was, at that point, it was really just Ken and I in the group, and he thought that she was dead, actually. And so 5 years later, or whatever, when she came back from Belize running rescue missions and calls us, and we're an established band in Gainesville, it was quite a trip to, you know, to get a call from her. And, you know, we went into her, she asked us to come in front of her congregation and say a few words, and we went in, and it was a full-on Southern Baptist reunion. So it was straight out of the Blues Brothers, you know, we're on a mission from God. You know, it's like,
that's great.
Hallelujah!
Good music. I know that a lot of you guys went through a lot of pain and sadness while working on release.
Yeah.
What changes did that time frame make on the band, and was the band was the band in a better spot while you guys were recording Heartland Highway?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, you know, life is full of all those things, all the wonderful things and all the shitty things. I don't know if I can say that on this, but that happen. And we're students of life as songwriters in the band. You know, we write about what we see and what we experience, and so yeah, a couple things happen within the band, and so there might be, you know, a little bit of you know, maybe some darker subject matter, but something about Hazel that I think people like. I mean, if you go back, even our earlier albums, and people thought we were a happy band, if you really dissect those lyrics, there's a depth to that is, they come from some really heavy places, but we dust them with optimism, just enough to say, hey, there is hope, there is a light at the end of this, there is all this stuff that we go through and can see or can commiserate with, or understand, and so we're writing about it, and we're also saying, hey, a lot of times, there is a redemption at the end of this, or there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So we tend to see we're glasses half full kind of guys. So, you know, so whatever we write about. Heartland Highway, yeah, I think there is a little more of a kind of, you know, kind of making it through the rain kind of feel with this album, you know, kind of put everything behind us, hit the open road, and see what's next, turn the page, you know.
Cool. Yeah, turn the page. I know Heartland Highway was released in October. How's the album been welcomed so far? And how, well, I guess we just covered that, how's your music been changed since the last album?
Well, you know, I would say so far it's, our fans seem to love it. We're just starting to play the stuff out now, so it's a little too early to tell. We're only doing 2 or 3 songs, but the songs are going over real well live. The album is selling well, you know, relatively well. So.
I know you guys do a lot of stuff for Lyrics for Life. It's a charity you guys started.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that? My grandfather died of cancer, and I started a charity because of it myself. So I was kind of interested when I read about it. So,
yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, cancer is one of those things that has a, you know, it's a horrible thing that affects a lot of people. And where that came from for us was our lead singer, his brother died of cancer, his younger brother Jeffrey. And so he always kind of wanted to do something. And, you know, we've all within the band kind of adopted that as our focus. So on the road, we would go into children's hospitals and play, you know, bring our guitars in, and, you know, and it would be the hardest thing that we would do and the most rewarding thing that we would do. And so after doing that for a while, you know, Ken was like, I want to take it to the next level. I want to do something and start a foundation. And so it was completely his idea, this Lyrics for Life, where, you know, it's about how the lyric and artists writing lyrics, and we can, you know, auction those off and those lyrics off. And really, yeah, interview time. Interview. Thank you. So you know, we could auction those lyrics off and then do a show around it, like an acoustic-based show. And so far, I mean, you know, I don't know the final number, but maybe a year or 2 ago, we hit the million mark that's actually devoted to stop children's cancer. So that's been our big crusade. And the shows are, you know, we do them all over the country, and a lot of times they're just little intimate shows, and, you know, they're really fun and really rewarding, and you know, some of the kids come out and stuff, and it's
yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because when I started my charity, we raised money for people who didn't have insurance and helped them pay, you know, for their hospital costs and stuff like that. But there was several times that I had some loss. You know, one 8-year-old little boy that we were working for. Have you guys experienced that and doing this as well, like getting connected?
Yeah, we have. There's quite a few of those kids that we've been connected with, and that we bring up on stage and we've played songs with and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
really tough.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. So. When I was going through all your the forums and the Facebook pages and stuff, and I noticed that your fans are really, really diehard and like instrumental in promoting you guys. Like, what do you think prompts that? Do you guys push that?
We pay them. We actually pay them. That's a new thing in the record industry. You pay your fans to talk you up.
They are though. They're awesome. Like,
yeah, you know, like I said earlier, you know, that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. You know, you can write your music for yourself, but then you just be playing it in your house, you know, your apartment or whatever. So, you know, we listen to our fans. When they have things to say, we hear them. We always have, and we've created a community around the Hazelnuts, the self-dubbed Hazelnuts, and they're a strong community of people, and we've fostered that community and create events around that community, and really embrace it as a band, and understand that that's our driving force, and that's our, you know, that's what puts the gas in the tank.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Quite literally.
Especially now.
Good.
We got to wrap. Okay.
I think we got sound check. Sorry.
They have sound check, but I do appreciate you giving me your time. I can't wait for the show tonight. I'm very excited.
Good.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Me too.
That's it for us, and we'll stay tuned. We're going to interview Nick Cowan and then do some stuff for the show.